This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I am your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, what's up?
That was weird. And alongside him is Dave Oster.
I'm just normal today. Sorry. Ricky's weird.
What's up? What's wrong with you?
Ricky's hyped up for this.
Changing it up.
He's hyped up for this free agency flurry.
This has been a mad free agency, man. I mean, it started off fast. It hasn't slowed down. We got Tom Brady in the
boys
action.
in the Hamptons. That's what I was going to say. He into Hamptons.
Who
Tom
knew the
Brady's in the
Hamptons
Hamptons.
would be the central free agency talks this year?
Yeah, Kevin Durant just wanted to get away.
Yeah, do I blame him? I mean, the
Like,
Hamptons
where do I want to go? Do I want to travel to every city and, have to deal with that? Or do I make them come to me in the Hamptons?
You make them come to you. And
Ooh.
also, if you spur OKC, you don't have to do it at home.
Yeah,
True,
and I also love how, that he's doing it in New York, he's doing it in the Hamptons, but Brooklyn, no meeting. The Knicks,
Just
no
snubs.
meeting. KD's not letting it happen.
I like that
Jay-Z
he snub
wanted it.
teams.
I did too.
Yeah.
I like it because Jay-Z's like, no, you got to do it out of respect. And he's like, no, I want to win. They're not good. Same with the Lakers too. But we're getting into it. We're obviously going to be talking about KD, but that's going to be later on in the podcast. But we're mostly going to be covering the big free agent stories. There's free agent stories coming out left and right even while we're recording this. So we'll definitely just have to cover what we know. We'll have to get into this right away. And what we know right away, Dwight Howard signed for a 3-year contract for $70.5 million, and he's going to the Atlanta Hawks. What do you think about Dwight going to Atlanta?
He's coming home. That's what I see of it. I mean, the Hawks were going to lose. Like, I think they were thinking, okay, we're going to lose Horford anyways, so let's make a push for Howard. And then Howard's a guy where you look, he's from Atlanta. I mean, just coming home and maybe trying to do the similar LeBron James thing, but I don't think they win a title.
Well, it's not the same because he wasn't drafted by Atlanta, so he doesn't have that guilt.
It's still
that guilt's
like,
not built in.
You think that as a player, you don't have that soft spot for, man, once in my career, I'd like to play for my hometown team.
Yeah, but I think it's different than
I'm not saying it's the same as
and
I'm not saying it's the same, but it's still
LeBron
got
had
that
unfinished business.
Yeah.
I think it's a great feeling for Dwight to come home, and I think the big thing is just Dwight wants to be loved. Like he went, Orlando as a town loved him. He was like the guy in Orlando,
especially when they went to the
went
finals.
to LA and just absolutely fell apart. Like the city didn't love him. He didn't love playing there. He didn't love his teammates, and like he got so much hate from the media. So he dipped out to the Rockets. Then on the Rockets, you were second fill to James Harden. And honestly, like he just got super fed up. They got a coach fired. I mean, it was just a shit show. So go to Atlanta, like you said, back home. And look, this city will embrace him.
Embrace him more and love him.
It's a budget signing too when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at all the other signings, I mean, I think it's not like anything cheap, but for Dwight Howard, a guy who has been a defensive player of the year, who's been a top one of the best big men earlier in his career, obviously he's kind of fallen down from that. But
12 straight years of double doubles or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
ever since he's been in the league, it's ridiculous.
Usually averaging around half a block a game. I mean, it's a fairly cheap contract. We've seen boatloads of huge contracts here, but how do you like the fit for just the team of Atlanta? Not really the city of Atlanta, but with now Dennis Schroeder as the point guard, with Kent Bazemore coming back, with Paul Millsap. Horford's not coming back. It's pretty safe to say that. How do you think Howard fits into that, and do you think he can kind of be the star again?
I don't really buy him as the star yet.
Who would be the star on that Atlanta team, though?
I don't know if there is one. I think they're going, they're keeping the traditional Spurs of the East look going. They're a team of many goods, and at any given time, someone can stand out. But I kind of think this Dwight fit is better than Horford's fit in Atlanta because he gives them an elite rim protector.
Well, not even just that. I mean, to go off of, you say the Spurs from the East, their coach coming from that tree,
right?
That's why he's putting that into place. And the one thing with Dwight that we saw with the Rockets was, you look back to the last playoff series that they had, Harden hits a big free throw, and we're talking about Dwight on the bench, not even like cheering while his guys are going crazy.
Yeah.
I think him coming to this team is going to be a veteran presence to this team that's not going, because he is the vet on this team now.
No,
and then
Korver, Millsap,
who
both
would be
been around.
Who would be a better veteran impact, Howard or Korver?
Well, Howard's kind of a baby as far as mentality is concerned.
And that's
a lot of people
Korver's a journeyman.
I think that this is going to be important, that if the season, or this city, I should say, embraces him like we're saying, maybe we see that kind of childlike enthusiasm that we saw in Orlando. Like we watched an interview of him when he was quoting Stan Van in Orlando, and even all of us were like, man, he
He's just so
looks
happy. Yeah. I think we can all agree on that.
But and you said they're bringing in an elite rim protector, but if you look at their stats at Horford and Howard averaged 1.6 blocks a game, and at Horford I think averaged around 1.5. So I mean,
this is where I feel like stats don't tell the whole truth, because we watch Al Horford get dominated in the playoff games. I mean, he was just embarrassed out there. So I think Howard will get the time out on the court. The big thing is the Hawks can't be done after this Howard move. They still need to go out and get another shooter from the perimeter, because as we've seen, that's what works best with Dwight Howard is you get guys out on the outside who can shoot, and he can soak up all the rebounds, putbacks, and look, Schroeder is an excellent young guard, and he drives to the basket really well. He's super athletic, but he's got to work on his outside shot, definitely. He's under 40% from three. If he can really develop that outer game, this team on the pick and roll is going to be dirty too.
Do you think they because they did bring in Prince, and they did bring in Bembry through the draft, so
right, Bembry, I like that fit.
They're going to get some wing help there. I mean, Bembry's not that great of a 3-point shooter, but Prince can be. Do you think they're really building the, like you kind of brought up, Budenholzer obviously worked under Pop for I think 18 years. Do you think they're kind of going with, no one's going to be the star, or do you think they will kind of build around Dwight and kind of bring that shooters around Dwight, or do you think they'll kind of go like a build around Schroeder? I think
it's hard to say which way they're going to go yet, because Dwight's a fantastic first step. The one thing I want to see is, like, with Dwight coming in, if they play around him, how successful can that be in the East and in the playoffs?
His ego's the big thing, because
wow.
Howard's ego is the most fragile that I've ever seen of a
superstar
player in my lifetime, where it's like, you know what? It's like we talk about him wanting to be the main guy. Oh, I don't want to be second fiddle to James Harden. So you can come out and say, well, yeah, we're not going to have like that one star, but I kind of feel like unless things are changing, because it's his hometown, like maybe Dwight needs to feel like, yeah, I'm the main guy here. I'm the number one guy.
No, he absolutely can be. The big question is how much time can they have on the court with him and Millsap? Because, look, the East, you may be able to get away with it more, playing a larger lineup, some slower guys out there. I mean, Dwight's still athletic enough to run the floor on a decent level, but you got to wonder. I mean, he was pulled off the court multiple times in Houston because he couldn't keep up with the pace of the game, because other lineups were going small on them. So thankfully you can hide him a little bit in the East, because no one in the East truly has, the same setup as OKC or the Warriors. So you don't have to worry about it too much. But when you got to think, this team is a playoff team. They want to make a run at the championship. Dwight's an excellent addition for that.
And I think they're tired of losing to the LeBron and the Cavs in the playoffs every single year.
Guess who beat LeBron back in the day?
Dwight.
I want to bring this up because, I mean, if we look at the standings last year, we had Miami, Atlanta, Boston, and Charlotte all tied from 3 to 6. 3 to 6. They all finished 48 and 34. Do you think this separates them? Because, you're losing Al Horford and bringing in Dwight Howard. You're keeping Bazemore.
It's a wait and see.
Separates them.
It's a wait and see move for me, because, like, I see this Dwight Howard and I go, part of me wants to go, yes, it puts them a step ahead. But then there's a part of me that goes, wait, we got to see how this works, how Dwight works in a new scenery, not being in Houston anymore, not being in LA, being in a city that maybe, like we've been saying, will embrace him, bring back that happiness for Dwight. It's a wait and see for me.
And I just want to bring up, because he's finally back in the East. We talked about, slower kind of pace there. Last full season he played in Orlando, 22 points, 14 rebounds, 2.4 blocks. Do you think he kind of gets back to the level, or do you think he stays around where he was in 2014 or 2015, where he was averaging around 15 and 13 at about 10 boards a game?
Look, I think him and Paul Millsap can absolutely dominate the boards and down low. I want to see Dwight return to, like,
old Dwight.
I think 17 points would be reasonable out of him. This team right now, what we're missing out on is, like, where are the points going to come from? Schroeder's the cutting guard. Millsap can definitely dump in points like crazy. But outside of those two options, now without Teague there as a second guard, you've got a lot of question marks. Is Korver going to come back this season in the same shape, or where is he going to end up? I think Dwight definitely can fill in a huge dump of points.
Yeah,